What's up, guys? WhoNeedsMeta here. So today, unfortunately, this week, Caddy and I weren't able to really play this much. So today, I wanted to go over a replay, and I thought it'd be kind of fun to do a little duel commentary. Every once in a while, I'll hop on Dueling Book, and I'll see people just post a format in the unlimited unrated section, and I'm like, sure, why not? So this is a cut from a match. Unfortunately, I won game one. He won game two, but unfortunately, he ended up cheating in game two. I just didn't notice. I was kind of maybe a little distracted and didn't notice. But I'm excited to show Game 3 because I really like Game 3 and I feel like it really showcases what this deck is capable of. So we'll get right into it. Okay, so here's our opening hand here. We have Duel, Battle Fader, Allure, Space, Tour Guide, and Trag. I am going to start with the Tour Guide here. I apologize for the clicking because I'm just going to have it on pause and just click Next Play the whole time. But yeah, so we're going to start with Tour Guide. I feel like this is probably the safest play here. With Duel, you kind of want to save it a little bit. This is based off Courtney Waller's deck from YCS Kansas City. He actually won the whole event. But I decided to speed it up a little bit and make a few changes. I really do like the interaction with Dimensional Alchemist and cards like Battle Fader and Allure. Battle Fader, of course, when it leaves the field, it banishes itself. Dimensional Alchemist can add it. Dimensional Alchemist can add any of your banished monsters. So it's obviously really good. He only played 2 ChaosSworn, so I decided to max out on 3 Sork and BLS because I just feel like that's the most consistent way to just kind of go off and, play as fast as possible. So we're going to go for Tour Guide and just, looks like we're going to grab Sangan. I do have his hand up. Actually, he has a semi-decent hand. He's going to have to protect his Gale and go with Caius. So we'll go here and we'll set MST. I feel like it's correct to set MST here again because this is a dust sheet format and we are going to be drawing into cards that, we will be drawing into dust sheet range. We'll have more than 4. So, and then even though it does make Trigodi a little bit weaker, it's still good. But he's going to try and protect this Caius because he's going to want to banish this Sangan. So we'll give it over to him. And he's going to draw a Tour Guide, which is probably a really good draw, but it looks like he's going to go with Gale. I probably would have gone with Tour Guide here. And also went for Sangan because you contribute Sangan for Caius, and that's really good. And then you have Solemn Judgment to make sure it goes through. So that's my rationale. But he's gonna cut here because why not? But he doesn't know I have Trag, but I do. Which you should probably have saved the Gale effect and then cut Trag. But it is what it is. You get priority that way. But it's like gets under bottomless. There's no warning. So. And we're going to drop the Trag there, and he's going to set everything because he has the Judgment, and we're going to hit the Judgment, which is pretty good. The other two, obviously, Call being completely worthless to hit at this point, and then Mirror Force, which also would have been a good hit, so we had 2 out of 3 that would have been good at that point. We're going to draw Reborn, which is insane. Again, I'm making a mistake here. I don't like playing online, but you should shuffle your hand whenever you activate Allure so your opponent doesn't know if you drew into a dark or not. If you banish a card you drew, they know you have another dark, so they can possibly eliminate what's next in your hand. It's a very, very small minor advantage, but it is something that you should probably do. Okay, so I do shuffle. Yeah, you want to shuffle your hand if you Allure. And we're just going to beat over Trag because we're big. And he's going to use the Mirror Force, like I said. He does have this Tour Guide, so he doesn't have to Mirror Force. But Caius is still pretty good because he can, use the effect of Gale, tribute it off, if that's the play he wants to go. So we're going to lose our Trag. We're still going to have our Sangan. And we're going to... setting Raikou is the right play. Again, we need a light. And what we're going to try and do is we're going to use it to clear this last back row so that we can safely summon our BLS. Unfortunately, here he does draw Bottomless, so we are going to have to play around that. Another thing to note about Dimensional Alchemist, it does get around Bottomless because it doesn't banish or anything or cost to gain attack or whatever if you use priority. So it won't be 18 on summon. It'll have to wait for its resolution. So it will always get around Bottomless. That, and you don't care about this getting Bottomless because let's say if because we can always just add this card back and things like that, and we want to banish our BLS and Chaos Sorcerers off of our other Chaos monsters because we don't want our opponent to use Reborn on them, and we're the only one that's going to be adding it back with DL. So that's kind of the logic there. So again, we don't have Valor. We're going to lose out. We're going to lose our Sangan, which kind of sucks. It is worth noting that I do play Treacherous, so if I did have Treacherous, you can chain it to Caius and destroy Sangan and Caius in that way, because if you take a look at He doesn't. He don't have it up anymore. So we'll. But I'm pretty sure Treacherous, the way it's worded, is it's just 2 monsters. So he's gonna attack this. He's gonna think that I'm going for his Caius because like that's like the logical play at that point because you want to make sure you get value out of this. But we are gonna go for the call because we want the call. Apologize for the clicks. We're just gonna. This is probably the fastest way to do it. So we mill Valor, Raikou, and Valor, Dialk, and Charge. And milling Valor is actually pretty good here because what we can do is we can banish that as our light, and that will allow us to have access to a tuner. And if our Dialk gets run over and we're worried about another Caius or like this tour guide here, if we were to play around that, we could just add back the Valor. So that's also a good play there to be able to add back Valor and reuse it. It's kind of like how you can add back Valor with Beckoning and Light Sworns. Similar play there because it's a light. So that is an interesting because you can like banish it off Chaos Sorcerer and then like summon it back. We can banish Chaos Sorcerer, banish their monster, summon Tour Guide, Leviair for the Valor, and then use that to make Arcanite Magician. So we'll keep going with this here. So he is going to set bottomless again. We've already seen 1 Solemn, so we know he still has 2 Solemns left. Theoretically, he has 2 Solemns left. So that is something we have to worry about. But if we do have our BLS, like we can remove it again for another monster or whatever, because we won't be able to reborn it, but we don't care that he can't reborn it. So we still feel pretty comfortable here. Because we also, again, we're going to be able to priority effect no matter what. If it's Trenchal, it's Trenchal, doesn't matter. We have Reborn. He's already used Mirror Force. So that's kind of our thought process here. So it looks like we're going to go with our Dialk to try and maybe bait something, like if you can bait a warning. Because it does say you control. So it's not in your possession. So we're going to try and bait the warning. Bait something out of there. It doesn't happen. I know he's probably playing around a Chaos Monster seeing all. I mean, we do have, plenty of lights and darks. So again, we're going to go for our BLS, and we are going to priority effect to remove the Caius. And he is going to bottomless because it is his only way to get it off the board. Because no acid going for like Tour Guide to crash or anything like that. There's nothing we can really do. The only thing I can think of is he could go Tour Guide for Leviair and then Leviair for my effect Valor, and then use that to make Black Rose with this Caius. But then again, he's losing the Caius, so there's nothing he can really do in that scenario. So we are going to get Dimensional Alchemist back. We're going to get 18 in here. I am going to hold the Reborn. There's nothing, if you look at it, like there's Gale, which, I want this on the board, so I'm not going to sync with it. I don't really care to go for Dialk again. It just feels like a waste of a Reborn there. So we're going to hold it, obviously. Because if he wants to do something to our Thunder King, we can just bring it back, which is really good. And if he does destroy this, which he is going to do, because, why wouldn't you? Again, there's nothing that he would Leviair for. It is also really important to play around your opponent's Leviair to like banish stuff that's really only advantageous to you in your game state. It is important to know that. So yeah, we want to make sure that we're not giving our opponents anything that they could use. It's the old Leviair for your opponent's rescue rabbit play kind of thing. So he's going to go for Leviathan Dragon, and he's going to go for 12. And we're going to get our BLS back, because why not? He's only got 1 card. If it's back row, it's back row. But like I said, we have Thunder King and Reborn, so that if he does do something to it, if that is a set card, which it isn't, we can say it's Dark Hole, but if it is something that he would set, we could we could play around that and mitigate the back row or anything like that. Like if it's Warning, if it's Trenchal, again, we have Reborn. For if it's Warning, we could kind of play around that. We can Reborn his Gale and make Black Rose and be bigger and thing like that, and then he's stuck with a 1 card. So or we could just cut it and then attack over with Gale. So we're safe no matter what. So you can tell we're in a really advantageous state, and we're just going to drop our Soldier again. Again, banish Light and Dark. And the draw didn't matter. We had game. We could summon Thunder King and then Reborn Dimensional Alchemist, and that's enough for game. So, again, let me know what you guys think of this deck. I feel like it's a really good deck for September 2011. It's really underrated. It's kind of out of nowhere. So, I really enjoy the deck. Let me know what you guys think, and thanks for watching, guys.